Good evening, Dr. Yo. My name is CHUA 299974, and today I will be doing my graded assessment 4, which is selling pitch. So, the pitch that I will be doing here is a book. So, the book right here is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It is a book that has been created since 1936 by Dale Carnegie. I believe Doctor knows about Carnegie because most of the motivational speakers, even some famous booksellers like Brian Tracy, Brock Proctor, and even many other financial experts are heavily recommended this book in their early years, and they are recommending it to people, to us right now, because this is not just a simple book. This is a book that is targeted for children, adolescents, and adults. So hear me out. How does this book become age friendly? So later on, it will have a demonstration of it right now. Hi guys, so I will be presenting my demonstration on Human Weakness by Dale Carnegie. This book is produced in 1940s and it has been a bestseller ever since. It's already been 50 years, but people are still talking about this book. So it makes me wonder. So I actually had to dig up my own bookshelf, and I actually found this on my father's bookshelf that this book actually exists. Well, what you see right here is a Chinese translated version of it. So if you want the English version of it, I say go for it. But as for today's demonstration, I'm gonna use the Chinese version of it. So for demonstration, it's not really that much. As you can see, the price tag here is actually 7 ringgit 90 cents, which is pretty cheap 30 years ago when my father bought it at the bookstore. Right now, I believe it's already over 50 ringgit Malaysia if you go to the newest book series of this. But I'm the one that is traditional. I like to use the old book, so let's get to it. This book, as you can see right here, it follows the traditional Chinese line from here, actually here, read by line, and then another line. So yeah, so a lot of people may refuse to read this book as it became so complicated in ways because first off, we are reading it horizontally, but this one is vertically. So I understand if people wanted to quit reading these self-help books because, well, they have reading difficulties. But my opinion is that you need to stay tuned for me to explain more on this book throughout the Wikipedia written by somebody else. So it really lines out a really good chapters, and then I'm gonna explain it one by one on how to do it. So continue. Moving on from the demonstration, right now you must have wondered who is Dale Carnegie. So I pull up a simple Wikipedia page for you to understand who is Dale Carnegie. He was born in 1922 and of course was a teacher first, and then he went to World War One, and then after World War One you can see the biography here. So here, during World War One, he served in the U.S. Army, spending time at Camp Upton. And after that, he actually conducted a lecture. So after that, actually, in the beginning, he was teaching public speaking. So public speaking just turned out into another motivational speaker route for him. So the book How to Win Friends and Influence People is actually being produced on the basis on the book, which is called Public Speaking and Influence Men in Business. So as you can see, this copy has sold 5 million copies in 31 languages. So Carnegie really has bring a lot of impact to the world by producing this book. So this book is way ahead of time, and it is not late for us to pick up this book and start it off. So why do I say that? Who is Dale Carnegie? Dale Carnegie actually had a website. So if you're curious about him, you could actually go and search him through this website link. And inside here is his website that has included a lot of courses. So we have leadership, we have high impact presentations, we have winning with relationship selling. So whenever you feel that you are lack of it, you could just go for it here. But that's not the topic here. The topic here is to show demonstration of this book and why people should buy it. So actually, for you to actually know this book, well, in the Internet Archive, you could actually find this book. So if you see right here, it actually is the English version of this book, where I have the Chinese translated version. You could get this book. So in whatever language it says, it teaches us how to manage our emotions and using emotions to our advantage. This is the main reason why we should read this book. We need to understand our own emotions, and then we could only harness it in order for us to channel it in the right way, in the right energy form. So, without further ado, let's move on to the book. So, just now, the book itself has too many words on it, so I'm just gonna shut it down into major sections and points. So, the first one is fundamental techniques in handling people. So, I believe that a lot of people are actually facing problems in facing people that sometimes they are just showing emotions that you don't know how to handle it, or they just suddenly change their mind. And why is that? Why is it this thing is happening and you have no knowledge of it? So basically, I couldn't comprehend this fact because I want to learn more about people, and this is the book that I need. So I'm going to teach you right now. Without further ado, let's go. So the first one is don't criticize, condemn, or complain. If you are complaining something, well, it will be most likely that people will feel your energy 3 feet away when they're approaching you, because throughout this physics study that our body is actually a matter of energy. It's not in solid form as we thought it would be. So if we are emitting this kind of negative energy, or in Gen Z term is negative aura, so people will feel it. And when they feel it, you know, at first they don't feel nothing, but somehow they just don't feel the same vibe, the good vibe from you. And they were more likely to choose other people when it comes to sales. So this one is very important, because when you criticize, you condemn other people else. When you point this finger out, notice that three of these fingers is actually pointing back to you. So when you do things like this, it is very not good, and people would really hate you. So I just put it like that. Second one is give honest and sincere appreciation. This one is very, very crucial. A lot of people are not given enough credit in these days because of, they have prioritized job. People are more looking forward to the IT job rather than the blue collar workers. And so I myself, working as an admin in a manufacturing company, would give this opinion a very strong spin, which is I always give honest and sincere appreciation in it to the workers. Well, even if they're foreign or local, I don't care, because they are doing some very dirty, dangerous, and difficult jobs. You know, Actually, we need them to keep our society to move on, because without these infrastructures, I mean, where did those computer even going to begin to start with, These data centers they're building, well, who's building it? Of course, is the blue collar workers. So to handle people nicely, you need to think from this perspective and start giving honest and sincere appreciation instead of using your own perspective and then to just boast off on other people just because you think that they are not doing their job. The third one is arouse in the other person an eager want. So what does this mean? This means that you need to give people what they want by telling them, well, or guiding them in a way that could help them achieve that. So I would make an example of it, well, not from the book, but from my real life, because reading books is just a part of the journey. So another part of the journey is to actually apply the knowledge in the book to real life. I'm a big believer in that, and so I'm not going to quote any examples from the book because it is from Carnegie's generation, and while some of them are really good, I don't think that it is applicable to 20th century, first century that I'm in right now. And I'm trying to take out the core principle and then just put it down on my life right now. So the thing that my supervisor do to me is that when I ask him for something, like I will ask him like how to order this thing. Usually he wouldn't point me in the right direction. Well, at least I thought it's not the right direction, but rather he will say something things like how big is the thing? How many diameters is this thing you are talking about? Like if I'm ordering rubber gloves, he'll be saying that, well, is it medium? Is it small? Is it large? How many do that stock flow in a year? Second question. Third question is, so is the worker really need to use them? Or is there a better alternative? So my boss is using this way to, well, really make me truly understand how these gloves really affect the workers when they are doing their work. And so I'm actually doing some research on it, and it really is amusing that the gloves are used to protect their hands during their work, and of course, some of the gloves they're using are not suitable, and we are actually actively changing approaches on the types of gloves that we have right now. But that's an issue. However, in this case, we need to do what people want in the end. My boss, by giving me that, made me think about things, but in the end, he still taught me how to do this job. So in the end, I asked him, so what's the point of this? What's the point of telling me things that doesn't even matter to that thing? And so he said that an easy route is never a short one. So yeah, here we are. My boss has his way of teaching me, and I think that it fits pretty good in this place because in this book, actually, he Carnegie told me to actually give people what they really want, but that is applying in sales. So in sales, you want to get a good deal, a good discount, a good free gifts, everything else. However, I feel like in my line of job, in this case, I need not the answer, but the way to approach an answer is the way that I truly learn to handle it. I think that's one of the people's nature as well, is that we all want simple and quick answers. We don't want long, difficult, and just simply miserable, too miserable, you know. Wow, that's actually just the first part. So I'll be going to the second part, which is why should people buy this book? Why should people actually, well, from children. Why should they buy this? Children are actually the generation of people that is most easily influenced by the things they are approaching at their age. Nowadays the kids they just watch YouTube, watch the 6 7, watch those Tong 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 Sahur, or those brain rot terms, brain rot videos, things that are actually brings no benefit to their mind, and they are occupied with it. They're occupied with it, they are exhilarated with it, they are very, very addicted to it. It's a big problem. So it is a way that to recommend people into this book world is by reading it. But yeah, generally, well, if you had strong interest in books, you were already read it by yourself. Otherwise, I wouldn't be calling you out to read it. But if you're afraid of what people are telling you, so this is actually another issue, which is ultimately people just don't care about you. They want you to be good, but they don't want you to be better than them in too many levels that they couldn't reach. That's just the reality of life. I accept it. I just saw it a few years ago and I started to make some changes around it as well. So now moving on to the 6 ways to make people like you. Now this is very crucial for adults because in adults, well, you need to actually strengthen your position but by enhancing your skill set, by moving up the ladders to actually have enough salary to buy the things that you want or to build up a family, especially in 21st century when all of the prices are skyrocketing that hard. I believe that you need something to make people like you. Just to give you a slight edge on things. The first one is to become genuinely interested in other people. Excuse me. So, for the first one, I have tried. So, I'm actually an HR assistant as well. So, when I'm interviewing people, I'm asking questions about it. I'm interested in other people's background, in their things, but now that I'm doing the presentation, I actually realize that I don't have the genuine reaction to it. Most of it, I feel like it's just towards a job. So, yeah, that's something I have to think about later on. But right now, I need to focus on how to get interested. Maybe it's just simply asking more questions, maybe. I need to find that answer ASAP. The second one is smile. So, smile like this is actually a good thing to lower people's guard and then to really make them feel that you are with them because when you saw a baby you smile, so genuinely that means that you are lowering your guard to people, that in order to let people into your heart or to let people enter your heart, well, I'm sorry, to let you enter people's heart, you need to smile. That's just it. The third one is to remember a person's name. Well, it is very, very important. I cannot stress how awkward it is to make a person's name or even misspelling it. Like when the person has some good feelings about you, you just have to appreciate it because not everybody has that kind of chance. And people are really not doing their good job to remember a person's name. They might be using some nicknames like, hey shorty, hey fatty, hey white, hey black, but that's not good enough. You need to remember a person's real name, the real name that is tied to his identity. That is why you need to remember it. The fourth one is to be a good listener. So, by becoming a good listener, you are letting them talk more about themselves, which in a way to lower their guard as well because they just open up to you and it is a sign of friendship as well. So I wouldn't say like, but Generally, a discussion or debate is also a way to understand people more inside of their heart, what they are thinking, what is their logic. So you really need to understand the back end of it in order to let the front end, which is yourself, to really let people know that you are listening to them. So the fifth one is talk in terms of the person's interests. I think this is very obvious, in which if you want people to get into your cause, you just have to talk about their interests. So in jobs terms, well, you do your boss's job, you get a salary. So the salary is the interest. But I find it interestingly enough that people aren't interested about the amount of money they had during the month. It's the allowance, is the side benefits of it. So I find it very amusing because isn't the salary the thing that people talk about the most? But surprisingly not. They are comparing themselves with things as, my boss just gave me a cup of tea, just bought me a cup of miche. Okay, my boss just, this, that, you know, it's jealousy, but in another form. Just like money is just an exchange of value. So they're talking about value. That's just it, you know. And the last one is to make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. This is very, very significant to people that are not reading this book and are listening to my video. This is very, very, very important because I may not get you to buy this book. I may not get you to even look at this book because of the skull thing. Well, so why should you buy this book? Because of this point. Maybe you didn't buy this book. I don't care. You need to understand this point. You need to make the other person feel important. You need to do it sincerely. You need to make them feel like they are on top of your priority list. The first example I will give is that your parents, right? Right now, I'm talking as a university student. So right now, I'm handling my assignment. So my parents are down there, well, downstairs, and actually handling their own business. So after that, I will have to go down there and have a discussion with them about today's events and that goes on, because you don't want to feel left out with your family, because in this world it's just too much distraction, too much things that really separate us inside a family again. So actually after this I will talk to my family about some personal issues which I'm glad to share about, because many people I realize they don't. They either are too afraid to do so, or their family just don't spend time on each other. So I actually feel very sad about it, because making time for others is actually a way to make the other person feel important as well. And you don't have to do it very sincerely. I mean, you just show up. Show up is a way of making people feel things, you know. And so right now, I'm only talking about two major points. Meanwhile, there are just like three, four other stuff left. So I guess that this will be it. And I hope that I did a really good job in persuading you guys to buy this, because this book not only just changed my life, but it only changes everything. Okay, so please buy. Link are in description. Thank you so much. Have a great time.